Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. We've known for years that the most elite anti-aging skincare pairing is azelaic acid and tretinoin. But what nobody ever seems to tell you is how to use these two wonderful actives together in order to maximize the results that you see. Well, I'm going to put that right in today's video. I want to share with you how to use azelaic acid alongside your retinoid of choice in order to boost collagen and elastin production, fade hyperpigmentation quicker, and do all of this whilst minimizing side effects and irritation. Sit back, relax, let's talk how to use azelaic and tretinoin together. Now in today's video, I'm going to share with you what I've learned over the past 5 years of using this wonderful combination. It really doesn't matter what retinoid you reach for, pairing it with azelaic acid is going to turbocharge the results you see and minimize the sensitivity and irritation that comes alongside it. It's like win-win-win, ding, ding, ding in my book. So I want to share with you guys how to do it right. But I want to hear from you too. Reach down into the comments section below and let me know, is this a pairing that you already use? If it is, leave the heart emoji and share with me what retinoid and what azelaic acid you pair together in order to get best results. Don't gatekeep, share your experiences with the community because I think we can all learn so much from each other. Whatever your thoughts on this little combo, if you appreciate this style of content where we really do like a how-to, rather than just talking about ingredients or skincare products, we go further, we go deeper than that, talking about how-to in order to maximize the results without having to add a plethora of new ingredients. If that's the sort of content you want to see more of, reach down and give the video a big thumbs up and a like. The more likes a video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. Now, without further ado, let's cut that waffle and delve straight on in. So in today's video, I'm going to break things down into, well, let's call them chapters. Chapter 1 is going to focus down on why this is such an amazing anti-aging pairing, why tretinoin, retinoids, and azelaic acid work so well together. Chapter 2 is going to focus down on the different variants you can use, different strengths of azelaic acid, different forms of retinoid, and how they work best together. Then Chapter 3 is going to come on to how to use these two together, so how to layer and pair in order to maximize results. If you want to jump to one section of the video over another, I've left timestamps down in the description box below, so be my guest. I've also listed and linked any product mentioned, again, down in the description box. If you didn't quite catch the name, you want to read the reviews or make a purchase, those links are there for your convenience. So let's start out. Why is azelaic acid and tretinoin perceived to be like the most elite pairing in anti-aging? Well, in truth, it's because they complement each other so well. Tretinoin is a wonderful high-strength retinoid which boosts collagen and elastin production, but also helps to increase cell turnover. As a result of using tretinoin in the long term, you're going to see some great firming, lifting, minimizing of fine lines and wrinkles, but you're also going to see a fading of hyperpigmentation, and that's as a result of that increased cellular turnover. The drawback with tretinoin is it can be quite sensitizing and has a lot of side effects and irritation. That's really where azelaic acid comes into its own. Not only does it also help eradicate hyperpigmentation, so it complements the results you're going to see from tretinoin, but it can offset a lot of the side effects. Azelaic acid is calming, it's soothing, it's also anti-inflammatory. All three of these things are side effects which you can get from tretinoin. So if you use azelaic acid alongside it, you're just going to be able to tolerate a higher strength tretinoin, do so with less side effects and irritation, and your skin's just going to be a whole lot happier. Azelaic acid is a wonderful ingredient in its own right, particularly at minimizing breakouts, fading hyperpigmentation, reducing redness and inflammation. Use it alongside tretinoin. That's where I think it really comes into its own. But what a lot of people don't explain along this journey is that it's not just tretinoin. The same principles apply no matter what retinoid you reach for. You might go for adapalene, you might go for tazarotene, tretinoin, retinal, retinol, gram-active retinoid. All of these will work better and be less irritating if you pair them alongside an azelaic acid. And that's why I really think it's a holy grail pairing that more people should know and understand. Of course, as with everything in skincare, there are some do's and don'ts, which I'm going to come on to later in the video. But now I want to move on to, like I say, chapter 2 and talk about the strengths and the different pairing options. So azelaic acid will traditionally come in 3 strengths, 10%, 15%, and 20%. And the strength that you go for really should be determined by the level of skin sensitivity you have. If you're somebody that has quite sensitive skin or you're new to azelaic acid, start at a 10%. That way you'll get a little prickling or sensitivity from the azelaic acid itself, and you can slot it straight in alongside your retinoid with no problems. If you have a more resilient skin type, you can go for a 15%, and if you're somebody that really wants like maximum results and you don't mind a little prickling in the early stages, you can reach for a 20%. Different products will have different concentrations, and it's right to choose the one that most aligns to what you're looking for. So when it comes to a 10% concentration of azelaic acid, I would reach for this, which is from my own skincare line, the Mad About Skin Dual Action Dark Spot Serum. 10% azelaic acid, which works universally. No matter your skin type, tone, or level of sensitivity, 10% will work for you, delivering you all the great benefits that I just referenced alongside your retinoid, but should do so with minimum risk of prickling, sensitivity, and irritation. 10% I would say most people should start with, and if you've got sensitive skin, stick at it because you're still going to get great results with 10%. You don't always have to push it up. Also, some countries of the world have limits on the concentration of azelaic acid. I'm thinking Canada, the US in particular. Those are the two big countries that have limits. So 10% is likely to be the maximum that you can reach for. But don't stress it. 10% will still deliver you amazing results. You might just have to wait a tiny bit longer in order to see them versus something of a higher potency. If you can get your hands on a 15%, most people will want to move up to that at some point, and my go-to 15% azelaic acid is the Acid from Theramid. Now, this is a fantastic brand in its own right. Everything they do, just for me, is wonderful, but their Acid serum is my personal favourite. This is a European Union brand, so it's really easy to get your hands on if you're shopping from within the EU, Norway, or the UK. You'll be able to get your hands on Theramid, and their Acid serum is fantastic. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get this one if you're in the US or Canada because of the strength of it, but like I say, it's a great way of stepping things up, but you can still get phenomenal results at a 10% concentration without needing to push it any further. Last but by no means least, you can get the 20% option. Now, very few brands actually formulate with 20%. Generally, you'll have to get it as a generic form of prescription style packaging, like this one. This is Skinnerin, which is over the counter in a number of countries. Some countries it does remain on prescription, so it will depend where in the world you live as to whether you can access it. I think a 20% azelaic acid is fantastic if you have very persistent and stubborn melasma, hyperpigmentation that's not really responding well to 10 or 15% strengths. For most people, this will be a little too potent. You'll get a lot of prickling. You can get a little sensitivity on first application. But if you really need the quick result or you're not responding well to other strengths, then 20% is a really great option. I actually tend to use 20% because I've been using azelaic acid for years, and so my skin is quite accustomed to it, and I just love the glow, the luminosity, and the even skin tone that I get from this 20%. I'll generally go in with a 10% on the delicate areas. I mean the neck. For me, the chest is also quite delicate. I'll use 10% on these areas, then I'll go in with 20% on the other areas of the face. That works for me, but it's really been a case of working up to that. But any strength azelaic acid will pair well with a retinoid. You just need to match it to your individual level of skin sensitivity. When it comes to the retinoids itself, most dermatologists, when they talk about this like holy grail duo, are referring to tretinoin and azelaic acid. However, I want to get across in this video that it's not just tret that this hack works with. You can pair any retinoid of choice alongside azelaic acid, and I'd actually recommend stick with the one you already have. So if your skin is already responding well to retinol, for example, keep with it and just slot in an azelaic acid alongside it. If you love to use your Differin, your adapalene, keep using it. Slot in that azelaic acid alongside it rather than switching it up. Because I think sometimes if we switch too many things up at once, our skin can become very stressed out, and that's not always the best thing. So for me at least, I'd say just know that whatever retinoid you're using, azelaic acid will make a dream pairing to go alongside it. It's not just tretinoin, and that's really one of the main messages I wanted to get across in this video. There are, however, some do's and don'ts when it comes to this pairing. As I said, they're a dream combo, but there are some things you need to be aware of. So first and foremost, I would recommend using azelaic acid twice a day and your retinoid once a day. So azelaic acid morning and evening, retinoid on an evening. That's because it's generally not recommended you apply retinoids twice a day because that could be too sensitizing on the skin, whereas azelaic acid actually works best if you use it twice a day in terms of accumulating those benefits, fading hyperpigmentation and reducing inflammation. So yeah, make sure you're using your azelaic acid twice a day and your retinoid once a day. In terms of the layering and the pairing of the two together, it actually doesn't matter. You know, a lot of people will generally be using azelaic acid early in the routine and then their retinoid right at the end. That's what I do, but it doesn't really matter. You can use them side by side. You can buffer with something hydrating in between. And for me, I will use my azelaic acid as part of my serum steps, and then I'll go in and use a retinoid right at the end as like the last step in my routine. I'd also say to people, in an ideal world, and I know we don't live in an ideal skincare world, but if we did, you would start using azelaic acid around a month before you introduce a retinoid. This also goes for stepping it up a retinoid. So say you're using retinal at the moment, make sure, and you want to move to tretinoin, make sure you're using azelaic acid alongside that retinal for a full month before you step it up to tretinoin. If you're completely new to retinoids, make sure you're using azelaic acid for a full month first before you then introduce it. That's because azelaic acid has a cumulative effect, and generally it will take around 4 to 5 weeks to see the full effects in terms of reducing redness, sensitivity and irritation. So if you use your azelaic acid for that time period before introducing a retinoid or escalating your retinoid, you're just going to maximize the amount of protection and defense that you're giving your skin against sensitivity and irritation, setting it up for success. As I said, a lot of people will already be using a retinoid, so that's an ideal world situation, but you can incorporate azelaic acid even if you're already in using retinoids. Just slot it in now, it'll still give great results. But like I say, in the ideal world, you would use it 4 to 5 weeks before you introduce a retinoid or before you step it up to something higher strength. And really, that is it. Choose your concentration of azelaic acid wisely. Start with a 10, you can always work up from there. Know that you can use it with any retinoid, not just tretinoin. Whatever retinoid of choice works for you, you can use azelaic acid alongside it. And just know that there are do's and don'ts, but primarily remember to use your azelaic acid twice a day, your retinoid once a day, and make sure that when you incorporate a retinoid for the first time, you've used azelaic acid for 4 to 5 weeks before, because trust me, you will have a game-changingly better experience. I wish I'd known this when I started retinoids 5 or 6 years ago. It would have made my life a lot easier. And yeah, the most elite duo, combo, call it what you want in anti-aging, is definitely retinoids and azelaic acid. This is something I wish more people knew about, and hopefully in this video I've been able to demystify it, help you make the right choices for your own skincare routine and know exactly how to use tret and azelaic acid or any retinoid of your choice with it together in your skincare routine. I would love to know what your thoughts are, so leave them down in the comments section below. And wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye!